welcome to the Preserve What You Love podcast, which is a brand new short form show in the outdoor space where we highlight the intersection of passion and conservation. This new show is going to be hosted by yours truly, the Breaker Bros, and presented by Wise River Outdoor Gear that's kind to the outdoors. So we kind of just wanted to make this quick little intro, not really a real episode, where we, one, introduced ourselves as the hosts, and two, kind of pitch to you in a way why you should listen to the Preserve What You Love podcast and what you can expect from it. So I say we just, I guess, hop into introduction. So Andy, why don't you tell us about yourself?
Well, hello there, everyone. My name is Andy Breaker. Some people call me Andrew. So I'm out here in Colorado at the base of Rocky Mountain National Park here in Fort Collins, Colorado. But I grew up in Maryland, fly fishing, running around, having fun, doing all sorts of outdoor recreation activities that have led, and Eric, you have had a very similar background and still live in Maryland. And now we've come to the point where that has become our life. And we love outdoor recreation. We love nature. We love time in the outdoors. And we love to be associated with other brands and organizations that have similar values. And some of you may know us from our production company, Breaker Bros, which was really created with that whole ethos in mind of creating outdoor films that have outdoor recreation kind of as the basis of a lot of them. And then we also like to tie in conservation messaging and stories about sustainability with the goal of sparking sustainable change. And so, like I said, we like to work with other brands that think similarly. And so, Eric, how does Wise River kind of fit in with that approach?
So, I mean, like you just said, we have a mission statement at Breaker Bros, and that's to use the power of outdoor storytelling to spark sustainable change. And we started working with the brand Wise River about a year and a half ago because their values are kind of perfectly aligned with ours. Wise River is an outdoor gear company that makes gear that's kind to the outdoors. So it's kind of sustainably focused, stylish outdoor clothing and outdoor gear. It's versatile stuff that you can wear to work, but you can also go beat up on a hike. So it's kind of this awesome company who has products that we truly believe in, whose ethos and values align closely with ours that we've been working with. And we talked to the founder, Nick, about doing this podcast because he came up with the hashtag Preserve What You Love for social media. I don't know when, I'm assuming probably more than a year
Oh,
ago. Um, and we thought it would be a pretty awesome concept for a short form podcast because while there's a lot of content out there in the outdoor rec space, there's not tons when it comes to more conservation focused shows. And we thought there was a cool opportunity there. And I think one of the reasons why we wanted to start this is because we wanted to create a resource that we wish we had when we had started in the conservation space years ago. So, in a way, this is an amazing opportunity for people that are interested in entering that workspace or just interested in learning more about it to hear from these people who deserve to have a spotlight on them. Like, we as a society kind of do a weird thing where we idolize people that, I mean, as I'm sure a lot of you can agree, a lot of times don't deserve it. And I think there's some true heroes out there, especially when it comes to the environment and conserving the environment. There's a lot of true heroes that we never hear about. And while it's impossible for us to, go out and interview all those people and tell all those stories, I think we wanted a way with less overhead and time of going out there and creating a short film, which we're still going to continue doing, obviously. But we wanted a way where we could more efficiently connect to these people and not only highlight, who they are and the work they're doing, but also learn from them ourselves, and hopefully in turn, our viewers, you guys will learn from them as well. And a lot of these guests will be reachable, and I'm sure happy to answer questions, and we'll obviously be happy to do the same. So I feel like maybe before we end this thing, it might be worth it if you just ran through kind of what people can expect per episode, Andy. And I
Totally.
think, it's it's not like we have this like set vision in our head. Like we understand things are going to have to be flexible, and we'll also listen to feedback from you guys. But I'll let you kind of hop into the rough questions we have for each guest.
Yeah, so again, we want to try to keep this as short as possible to really get a good bang for your buck if you're going to take the time to listen to the podcast. We want to cover, what is that form of outdoor recreation that the guest is most passionate about, and then what are some ways that they then preserve that activity or preserve the natural resources associated with it, then a crazy or funny story associated with that activity, and then lastly, why you should care about it. Um, and one other thing that I wanted to mention is through Breaker Bros and through creating these films and interviewing folks, we've come to learn so much from so many awesome people. And now, through a podcast avenue, we're hoping to, interview even more of those people and to hear about those stories at the intersection of conservation and recreation, because that's a really unique space where people get very passionate about that activity. Because as many people who I'm sure are listening right now, when you participate in an outdoor recreation activity in nature, it's not many times that you come across someone who just does that activity but then walks away from it and doesn't really care about that environment or the resources associated with that. They become attached and almost obsessed with becoming the caretaker for that space. And so we're really excited about meeting those people who have their sport, whether it's rock climbing, snowboarding, fishing, uh, soccer, any of the above.
Basket
Actually,
weaving.
yeah, underwater basket weaving. And we want to hear about the ways that they, have participated in that activity, but then also given back and developed a love for nature through it.
Yeah, and I think we kind of have those conversations naturally all the time when
Right.
we're out with people. So it only makes sense that this is what we're talking about now. But those conversations lead to some really interesting stories, and sometimes some hilarious stories, some inspiring stories. So we are incredibly excited. And we thank you guys who are willing to listen, for donating your oh so valuable time to us. And I guess that just leads us into announcing our first episode, which is with Chris Pandolfi, who is the banjo player for the infamous String Dusters. And he also just happens to be an avid angler and an amazing, inspiring conservationist. So I can't really think of a better individual for our episode one, as someone that encompasses kind of all those values of the Preserve What You Love podcast and of kind of the Wise River brand. So we are excited to launch this episode, and we hope you enjoy it. And please, if you have any feedback overall, we would appreciate it. But especially if you're interested in being a guest, or if you have anyone in mind who you think would be a good fit, please feel free to reach out to us, and we will do our best to get back to you and figure it out. So with that, please go check out episode one. We are excited to, I guess, embark on this journey with you.